Now that you're beginning to understand more and more the importance of story and of our own personal narratives, um, we can begin to explore in greater depths. So, what's the difference between story and narrative? I use these terms interchangeably. Here's a definition that might help us. Story is what we tell each other. Narrative is what we believe inside. So, if all of your stories were, and the narratives that go alongside them, were wonderful, playful, and empowering, uh, you'd be an extraordinary exception. Most people are struggling with at least a few problem stories, and they fall into some general categories. So before we begin figuring out how to solve and recreate and make better stories, let's talk about what are some of the general categories of problem stories that people come up with. These are useful generalities. One is blame stories. These are very common. Victim blame, the finger goes out blaming or goes in. Stories in which someone, usually yourself, gets the blame. That gets labeled with negative traits. You're selfish, you're crazy, you're lazy, or with bad intentions. I think I want to control everyone, or I do these crazy things because I need constant attention. These stories not only do not invite change, they can actively interfere with the change process. And they're so ingrained, sometimes it's a default setting. Another popular problem type of story category are invalidation stories. These are stories that suggest that someone's personality or feelings or desires or thoughts are somehow wrong or unacceptable. My mom, I always heard the story, my mom got pregnant by accident. I therefore am a mistake and am unloved and unworthy. So these are things that you might be thinking about when you review the stories that your narrative. Are there a lot of blame or invalidation themes that come up over and over again? As an exercise, you might think about telling yourself, changing something slightly as you tell a common blame or invalidation story. Think about if there's one element that you could change that would make it different, that would make it less blame, more validation.